Hello everyone, today I'm reviewing the PicoPlay by the wonderful people over at JMGO. These guys are absolute experts at designing and manufacturing smart projectors. The PicoPlay is an entry-level product compared to the rest of their catalog. Perfect for people who are just getting into the projector scene, don't want to spend a hefty sum, or want something super portable to take anywhere you go. Some of the features include are the gimbal design, the Flexus Smart adaptive screen, it's got 10 color RGB ambient lights, it's got touch buttons, and an action button. And it also doubles as a Bluetooth speaker. So let's pop this open and see what it comes with. Okay, so popping open the box, and inside the box, I like the packaging and labeling it has on everything that it comes with. It's just super convenient, and I'm glad they added something like that. I'm going to first pop open this little box on the side, which contains both the power cable as well as the crystal lens to be used in the ambient lighting. Next, we have this box on the lid that has both this card with an infographic of the PicoPlay, as well as a microfiber cloth to keep the machine and the lens clean and dust-free. Another box here are the remote and the batteries for the device as seen by the labels. It's got great standard functionality and convenient streaming service buttons. And finally, we have the actual projector. It's got a nice weight to it, but it isn't too heavy that it would be a pain to carry around. It's about as heavy as a regular portable Bluetooth speaker. On the back, we have a USB-C power cable, an HDMI port, a regular USB port, a customizable action button, and the power button. And on the top, we have some touch controls for the device. All right, so let's plug this thing in and see how it works. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to plug the USB-C into the back and plug the other end into just a regular socket. And the power button starts glowing. I hit that, and it turns right on. So even with the light glowing, you can still see a pretty clear image on the wall. I'm just going to adjust it a little bit more so the wall or the image is centering the wall a little bit more. I can use that knob on the side to adjust it vertically, and I can position the projector to adjust it horizontally. First things first, I'm going to pair the remote, which is super simple, just pressing two buttons as shown by the instruction on the screen, and I can get right into setting up the projector for use. I'm just going to turn the lights off first before I do that. All right, I just press those two buttons and it's paired, and I can get right into setting up the projector for use. This whole process took about 5 minutes of loading, since this is the first time I'm setting up the device. Afterwards, it should usually just be the push of a button. So on the home screen, we have some recommendations from the operating system and a list of all the applications that was downloaded during setup. We have streaming services, music services, and other essential apps for whatever purpose you'd need this for. Next, I'm going to comb through the settings just to show how much functionality you can actually customize on this machine. The first setting we see here, the projector setting, allows you to change how quickly it focuses, adjust the gimbal tech, change the image in certain ways if you need to adjust to the correct color on any wall or using it during daytime. You can also add some shortcuts with the action button to easily access whatever you deem fit. For example, I could add a shortcut to open Netflix if I tap twice on something. Next is the ambient light setting, which is the light present on the side of the projector. I can change its brightness or saturation depending on my mood or if I'm in a particularly dark room. And next we have this vertical mode setting, which allows you to use the projector as a speaker, which I'll show off a little bit later. We also have this smart eye protection setting, which automatically dims the projector when someone steps in front of it. I'm just going to show you how it works by just placing my hand in front of it. And it automatically dims the light as well as requires manual input to stop it. And the next setting we have here is the touch buttons, just making them more sensitive or less sensitive, however you feel. Next, I'm going to go through the display and picture settings where you have full functionality to change really anything you wish. You know, HDR, resolution, contrast, all the settings you need to really make sure your pictures look perfect. All the other settings are about like account linking, privacy information, accessibility settings. So I'm just going to skip over that and get straight into the actual projection. First, we have a movie playing here. As you can see, the projection is very clear and crisp. The color is super accurate to what's being shown. It's in a 1080p high definition resolution, and it's got a really super bright and stunning display. I'm gonna let you guys just appreciate the picture and really how it looks. Okay, next I'm going to try a little bit of gaming. I'm going to connect my PS5, which is super easy to do. All I have to do is plug this little HDMI, connect it to my PS5, and then the projector automatically detects it. And I just have to select a setting to switch to it immediately. I'm trying out this new game called First Burger Kazan. I just want to show off how the projector looks when we're moving in motion, because the projector actually displays in 120 hertz refresh rate. So that means if you have any games that go above or meet that frame rate, you'd be able to see them at that full frame rate. As I skip through a little bit of these, you'll see what I mean when I turn off the frame limiter on the game. All right, I finally skipped through the cutscenes and they'll let me play this introduction now. You know, the colors are super deep, and as you can see, that light really reflects against the walls to give a more ambient vibe to your projection. And the frame rate is at its full frame rate. Unfortunately, my recording device probably won't pick up that 120 frames, but it is running at that frame rate. I'm just turning off the frame limiter right now just to see that a little bit easier on my end. Yeah, and it has no problems with a moving active image, and the colors are still just as accurate, as well as the definition being just as clear. I also want to show off the modularity of the projection. You know, I can move this projector pretty much onto the ceiling, and it will auto adjust the frame so that I would get the best viewing angle for wherever it is. So right now I'm just moving around, and you can just visibly see that auto adjust every time it reaches a new surface. Now I'm going to put it onto the ceiling, and we'll see how it looks. So as you can see, you know, the picture automatically adjusted to as if it were looking straight down. So if I were right directly under that, I would have, you know, the perfect viewing angle. These are the touch buttons on the projector. Those are for volume up and down. That's a back button and a home button to scroll through the menus. And we have directional keys to do the same thing. There's some useful functionality if you can't find the remote, but You should always carry that with you. Anyways. Also, at any point, you could turn over the projector and it'll give you this little message to make sure you want to switch over to Bluetooth speaker mode, which is what I'm going to do right now. And you guys can listen to what it sounds like. Yeah, that's the noise it makes when it's paired. Let's try playing some music. One final feature, and arguably my favorite feature, is the ambient lighting mode. So, you could project this right up onto a wall just to give your room a little spice or just some nice lighting without having to purchase some, colored LEDs or anything like that. This gives almost as much as an experience as something like that. And with the lens, the crystal lens that was provided with the projector, as soon as you put it on, it makes this crazy lighting effect that would, instantly spice up any room that you put it in. Check this out. Isn't that pretty? I would strongly recommend the JMGO PicoPlay. It is a more affordable product compared to the rest of their stuff and the perfect entry point into the projector scene compared to the rest of their catalog. If anybody is interested in spicing up their get-togethers or just want to have music available at any of their functions, this is a product I would strongly recommend, and you should recommend to your friends as well. Yeah, thanks for watching. All right, goodbye.